Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Live Underwater podcast. This is your host, Matthew Williams, and today I have a special guest. This is setting a record on the podcast because this is the first guest that I've had on this show that I do not know personally. So I want everyone to give it up for our special guest, Wize Otero.
Oh, thanks for having me on. Hey,
No problem. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, man, I love being a podcaster. I know how much fun it is to get to speak with you. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you. So I was doing a little reading on your profile. So we connected, ladies and gentlemen, through this app called Matchmaker FM. It connects podcasts that need guests that want to be on podcasts, and it's a nice little social experience. And from what I'm seeing, our guest, he was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York,
Yes, I was. And
and
now,
now,
now I live in the Pocono Mountains here in Pennsylvania, and it's a big
okay.
difference.
So you like it better?
Yes, it's much more peaceful. I've been a city boy all my life, so get away from the noise and everything, and actually do some fresh air. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I got a similar experience. So I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's not the biggest city in the world, but it's like it's still a city, and it's noisy, it's crazy. And now I reside in like the residential parts of Atlanta, Georgia, and Georgia is just a whole different breath of fresh air. I remember one of the first times I came back to visit because I first moved down here in 2012 and then went back to Ohio, lived life, and then I came back to visit in like 2016. And that first night of sleeping down here, it was like the most peaceful sleep I had probably in 4 years or so. Real quiet. Everyone for the most part stays to themselves. So it's nice to get away from the hustle and bustle.
Oh no, it definitely is. It gives you a peace of mind. I actually, when I go down to the city now, it's like I'll be like, time for me to go. I don't. Once I get there, it's like, oh, what time are we leaving? And so it's because it's the noise. And where I'm at now it's nice and peaceful. I enjoy being able to go walk outside and walk around and just not have to worry about anything.
Nice. So I
I've
understand.
I've been to Atlanta and I had a great time. I went down actually for a convention a couple of years ago, and
uh,
I enjoy it, man. The culture and the food is it's amazing.
Yeah, the food, man. The food is what keeps me here, really. It's just you just need that home cooking. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like most of the spots down here, just cook it how your grandma would. So it's like real deal soul food. Um, yeah, just nice culture, nice people. Traffic is crazy, but yeah, other than that, it's a nice place to be.
That's another thing I don't miss. I don't unless there's a certain time, of course, when you drive around here in the mountain and there's certain spots where they have traffic, but I don't miss that from the city where. But in the city, I didn't really drive that much. I had public transportation everywhere.
Yeah, that's really the way to be. I've been to New York for like a total of like maybe like 2.5 days, three at the most, and it was like, yeah, I don't need any more New York for like a good like 10 years.
Listen, it is. If you can make it in New York, seriously, you can make it anywhere, and that's why so many New Yorkers, when they move other places and they find much more success than they did back home. It's different, man. It's definitely we get built differently, I guess.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's really ironic. You don't know this, but so I met like this dude. He was a director to a music video that I was like randomly at the shoot for, and he was from Brooklyn, and he said the exact same thing. Because I was like, bro, how do y'all survive up there? Like everything's expensive, it's crazy, it's just like, yeah, man, you just gotta hustle, you gotta survive, man. Like, just, you know, if you want to eat, you gotta hustle, you gotta do it, and it's, I definitely understand, like, it's different everywhere you go. Like, some places are a little more demanding of you, what I'm saying, in certain areas, while others,
Oh no,
other places.
you can definitely see where in some places it's more weight. The energy and everything is laid back, and with New York, it's just everybody thinks you're rude. It's just that everybody just is just keeping it moving. Like it just they don't have time to stop.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing I get to enjoy now is I get the time to stop and enjoy the flowers, enjoy the air, enjoy anything. Whatever I'm doing, I get to enjoy it. This is not about just keeping it moving. I'm just more relaxed, enjoying life and enjoy doing podcasting.
Yeah. So before we segue into that, I just wanted to say, philosophy from Buddhism is like when people talk about the Buddha, they always like reference when he's sitting and meditating, you know what I'm saying? But it's like you also have to think about whatever he was out there doing, you know what I'm saying, that made people be like, oh, he knows something, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just rest, but it's also movement. So it's like important to balance the two because it's like New York is like, yeah, man, hurry up all the time, man. Everything bagel and coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah, the J train. Woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just fast, fast, fast. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, down south it's like a little more pep and stroll. You know what I'm saying? A little leisure. You know what I'm saying? It's not as congested. You know what I'm saying? But it's like both are really important to be in touch with nature, and then to be able to survive in capitalism.
Definitely. Like I said, I used to live in Tampa, so I know how it is down in the South, and I loved it in Tampa. It was a great experience, and circumstances dictated that happened, but it was still I loved it, man. People down there, everywhere you went, everybody was like good morning, and it's just a different. I don't know. It's that Southern hospitality is some great things.
For sure. So yeah, you said you do your own podcast. It's called Stuck in My Mind.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about.
I started. Right. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, go ahead and tell us about, how it came to be and the meaning behind it.
Okay, so I had been wanting to start a podcast since 2019, and I purchased this little Behringer studio podcast studio for about $160 on Amazon, and I was going I'm going to start a sports podcast with a friend of mine, and it didn't happen. Him and his girl got pregnant, and so when a newborn comes, people don't have time for a side project. So for a year, I'm sitting here messing around with the equipment, not really taking it serious, just making excuses to why I shouldn't start a podcast. Like, you sound horrible. Who would want to listen to you? What are you going to talk about? What are you going to do? And so 2020 comes and I get furloughed from my job, and the wife has a honey to-do list out the two for me. So I'm like, I need to find something to do. So I started a podcast. I finally pressed record one day when I'm sitting here with my nephew, and I didn't even really have all the setup correctly. I was missing the cord from the phone to the mixer, so I'm actually holding the phone to the mic so you can hear him speak. But it was just the fact that I had pressed record, and it was 5 minutes. It wasn't that long, and so that was the beginning of Stuck in My Mind, was me just finally pressing record.
Yeah, all it really takes sometimes is just to start. They say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
And it's been great, man. At first, like, people, it's hard to get guests because you don't really know anyone. you're beginning, and everybody's first question to you is, oh, so how big is your audience, or how many downloads do you have, or whatever it is, and you're like, I'm just starting out. I don't have any of that, and they're like, oh no, I'm not interested. But then as you grow and some of the no's start turning into yes, and you start growing and growing, and people start reaching out to you, and to have that was like, oh man, so I'm actually doing something correct if now people are reaching out to me because they heard my show and they want to be a part of it. So it's a big difference now from when I started in 2020 to now, where I get a lot more yeses than I do nos.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's dope. Cause yeah, with anything, it takes a foundation and then patience. Cause like with business, like a lot of entrepreneurs tell you that sometimes it takes like 5 years to really get your business going. And in this quick, instant gratification kind of world we live in, a lot of people, stop applying the pressure. They just stop committing to doing something because it's not yielding the results that they wanted to see as quick as they wanted them. And it's like when you're on this path, like you're usually alone doing it, trying to build something that nobody can see. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see it, it's this huge, magnificent concept, and people are just like, man, you need to go to work, man. You tripping. Go make some money, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, when it's finally built, you know what I'm saying? Now they can see it, you know what I'm saying? Now they believe, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
now they want to be a part of it. And
yeah,
like you said, it's that instant gratification. Everybody wants that instant gratification right now. And that's what a lot of podcasters think, that they're going to come out the jump and get 10,000 downloads. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You have to build up the audience. You have to build up the community. And like, it's big. Like you said, people don't see your vision until you show, until they see something that like, wow, this guy's serious. Like, what is he doing? And now, in all actuality, you have been telling them what you've been doing for the longest, and they just haven't been listening. And sometimes, like, one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is believing your family and friends are going to be the ones that are going to, yeah, they'll support you, but to believing that they're going to be the key for you to grow it's not going to happen. Because
yeah, man,
they know who you are, and you know who they are, and you know what kind of people they are, and they're like, please, man, you're little Jimmy. Like, why? I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll. And sometimes all it takes is a share, but they won't do it. And then you find people you start networking with and growing, that some of those people will end up being the biggest supporters. End up sharing a lot of your stuff compared to someone you've known for years.
That's the truth. Yeah, that's something that I'm facing. It's something I'm learning. It's something I'm accepting, and it's also something that I'm telling other people on their creative journeys. That is like, when you look at it, the people who make people rich aren't the people that are related to that person. You know what I'm saying? They might shop with them eventually, but it's like, it's not 90% of it. It's like, oh, my family is buying all my product, and we just wealthy. We just circulating our own money around. It's like, no, you got to go out and find the people that it's for. You know what I'm saying? And if you put it out, if you put effort behind it, if you really want it, people will gravitate towards it. People will find it. You know what I'm saying? Who it's meant for, it will connect. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes with that consistency and that patience, perseverance. Believing in yourself when nobody else will, because you really got to accept that that's part of it. Is that just no one can walk it with you. Those are your legs. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you do anything, there's always more that comes with it. So it's like, no one, unless someone is really just going to be down with your cause, they can all the way see it. It's going to be you, and you got to show them. But it's not about showing them. It's about making your dream come true for you.
And but in the process is also help bringing up other people with you. Like you, to me, yes, being an entrepreneur, it's a lot of work for yourself, but you really do truly need to build yourself a team around you. That's not. I'm telling you, that's not family members. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people. You have to
Yeah,
bring people in the fold that there's something you can't do. If you know you're not good at promoting, marketing, whatever, then you need to go out and find yourself a team member. That's their key. That's their niche. That's what they know what to do. Because obviously, yeah, you want to learn these things, but it's great to build yourself a team. I have an amazing team. I've built an amazing team that shares the same vision I have, but it takes time. It's
yeah,
not going to happen overnight, but it's building relationships. It's starting to build and network with people. I went to Podfest this year for the first time,
mm,
and it was an amazing experience because I actually got to sit down and network with people that you see all over. You see their ads all over Facebook, Instagram,
mm,
and these are people that their programs I've used. So to be able to sit down and pick their minds and talk to them and build a relationship with them, where now you're receiving emails from them or texts or whatever. Those are the experiences that's what you go for these events for. Is to actually network and grow. Because again, you have to expand who you know.
yeah. Network. Yeah, I appreciate the fact that you emphasize teamwork and what one like thing I like to talk about on the show is interdependence, where it's like it's not that people can move independently or people need to constantly depend on each other, but it's everything in this reality depends on everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're part of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like contributing to society or loving. You know what I'm saying? Love is the language. It's the frequency. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can only move forward through love and community. So it's like it's nice that because up until we organized the talk, I didn't know that you were also a podcast host. So it's like now we're linked in. Now we're part of a network. Like this is real nice. So now we can do like crossover episodes and what I'm saying?
And that was my key of me wanting to yeah, I have a story to tell, but I'm also a podcaster, so I know what it is for other podcasters to bring a guest on and it be entertaining and it be something that people want to listen to. And
Yeah,
so that's why when I have my guest on, I just want to have a conversation. Sometimes people want to just hear that authentic. Yeah, you're here to promote your book or you're here to promote whatever you want to promote. But I also want my audience to realize that you're a regular person
yeah,
and that you've had struggles and you've been through whatever you've been through. Everyone has a story to share. And so to be able to give people the opportunity on my podcast to share the story and share my story as well, it's been a blessing. For me, it's been therapy. This for me is therapy, being able to talk to people and talk about my issues and talk about what I'm doing to improve myself in life and improve the life of my grandkids. And so
mm,
it it's just been people think success is monetary when in all actuality is it's whatever you perceive it to be or whatever makes you happy from it. Like to be able to do my podcast and have something that my grandson could go listen to and be like, my pop did that. My pop had a show and he did some positive things and to have people reach out to me and say, hey, I heard this episode. Thank you. I needed it. Those things are what I deem being successful because I'm doing something that I feel I need to do. I'm serving my purpose. I'm reaching out people that need to hear a message at a certain time.
That's beautiful, man. Cause like lately, I've been feeling like this is supposed to be something. Like this is something that I'm supposed to be doing. Cause it's like I really wanted to be a rapper for like 20 years of my life, and it's like navigating that world and just seeing how phony and doo doo it really is. It's like just when you do the rap thing, you got to do all the other things unless you pay people. So
And
it's like
you gotta put on the show. You gotta put a front. You gotta act like someone
yeah,
you're not, and you don't get to be yourself. And so, being a podcaster, I get to be me. I get to be myself. I don't put a front for anyone. I don't put a show for anyone. I am who I am. With my flaws and all, I'm not perfect, but people tend to gravitate to that. People tend to enjoy being able to see someone who's real or listen to someone who's real. Who I'm not. I'm not. Listen, I'm just accepting the fact that I'm media. I just started accepting this fact. Like now they consider us podcasters media, and
yeah,
so to be able to build my podcast or what it is, and but again, the key for me is providing a service, providing somewhere people can listen to something that they listen to. And it's like for me, it's when I went to Podfest and I told people, they're like, "Oh, you need to focus." Like I told them what my podcast was about, which was dealt with it dabbled with entrepreneurship, it dabbled with mental health, society issues, and I had someone tell me, "Oh, you need to just niche down to one," and I didn't feel right about that. To me, it felt like, these are all the things that I like to talk about. So, and these are all the things people get stuck in their minds about. So, I'm not just going to just focus on one. To me, being able to talk to all people, all types of people, all types of fields is what I feel I need to do. So, yes, you take people's opinions, and if you want to adapt them and apply them, sometimes you feel like, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to do
yeah.
what
I feel
I
like
feel I want to do. That's sorry.
yeah, like I feel like especially with it not being syndicated, FCC regulated radio, you should be allowed to say whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, it's not being like it's being positioned to be put in front of the world, but it's like as soon as you put it out, the world's not going to receive it. It's not going to, nothing's exactly going to change immediately. But the people who find it and it's meant for, yeah, like you said, it's therapy. It's our little communities where we get the talks that we really need. Like I was on a previous episode, I was talking to my brother, and he was asking me like, "What am I trying to do with it, with this podcast?" And it's like, one, people just like to talk to me in my lifetime. Like some people just like to occupy a lot of my free time with just throwing it into the abyss. And it's like it's cool. Like my whole life, this is what I've been doing. But it's like what I noticed is like the most popular podcasts are all like gossip, celebrity, talks where it's like, I don't know these Instagram celebrities. Like they're, what I'm saying, back, when I was young, it was you were only a celebrity if you were in the magazine. You had the music video on MTV and BET. You know what I'm saying? Like these.
And that's when they actually played music videos. That's when,
Yeah.
for me, when MTV and BET was when they actually played music videos. Now they barely do. Now
You know what I'm saying?
it's
Like
all reality TV.
if you say that to a kid out here these days, they probably wouldn't believe you. Like MTV, BET, music videos. What are you talking about? I have never seen. You know what I'm saying? But this freedom that you can drop these podcasts as often as you want. You could literally drop 10 podcasts in one day if you wanted to. How easy it is to release this stuff. So it's like,
Yes.
it's to me, it's a necessary thing. Like at first, I'd never understood podcasts. I never wanted to do one, be on one, and my friends used to do one. I was on it like 5 times. People always tell me, "You got the radio voice. You got the personality
You and me
voice."
both. And it's funny. It's funny because that was one of the excuses I would make. Is like, who would want to listen to me? Like, I sound horrible. And people will listen to me and they'll be like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you have that voice. They're like, I actually enjoy listening to you. I'm like, okay. And so if
Yeah,
enough people tell you, you're like, okay, I guess I'm doing something right. I guess I do have that voice.
you do
And
have the
so,
voice. I'm telling you, one voice to another. You got the voice.
so yeah, of course, but it's like you put your own self doubt, man. It's like you be telling yourself, nah, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But it's just need to kick down that door and be like, nah, man, I got this. I can do this. And that goes with whatever you want to do in life. It goes with, listen, if you feel, I want anybody, if you feel that's something you want to attempt in your life, go ahead. Like, don't be afraid. If you want to be an actor, go ahead. If you want to be an engineer, the worst thing that can happen is you fail. The worst thing.
Yeah.
But that's life. That's lesson learned. You either pick yourself up or you stay down on the ground. But I refuse to stay down. Everybody, like I said, everybody's gone through, especially in the last couple of years, with the suicide rate going up and these young kids taking their lives and all these massive shootings and all that. It just shows you life is precious and shows you that you're here today and gone tomorrow. So why be afraid to take a risk at something you love doing? And so finally, when I decided to press record, I found myself. I found my passion. I found my purpose. And had I not pressed record, I would have never discovered this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, literally half the battle is just making the first step. And what's worse than trying and failing, what's 10 billion times worse than trying and failing is never trying and living with
and that's
the
what
regret.
I say. And that's what I say. I say, like, you already failed. If you don't attempt it, you failed already. If you don't attempt to try it and fail at it, then you've already failed. Because your excuse is, oh, I didn't fail. You did, because you didn't attempt it. So how would you know how do you know if you was going to succeed or not? You've already labeled it that it was going to be a failure, so why attempt it? Nah, can't be that way.
Because, it really be killing me if it's like, it's something that I didn't try, just playing too safe, and then like seeing someone else do it, and then it's like, man, they don't even look that difficult. I could have did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, we're our worst enemy. We're our own worst enemy. We doubt ourselves. So, and that's surrounding yourself with people that, and listen, I love my family members and all that, and I love my friends and all, but I need to surround myself around people that have been successful at what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I started, and listen, get a mentor. I advise anyone out there, get yourself a mentor. Get someone that you know you can go speak to and they can hold you accountable, or you can get whatever, something. Get yourself someone that's going to help you step out of your comfort zone. Because that's what it is. It's like we get comfortable and we're like, oh no, I'm good here. I'm good here. And the moment, like, I'm a person, like, I need to make myself uncomfortable because I want to shake things up. I want more than I'm capable of so much more. And so why limit myself? Like, podcasting, yes, I did my podcasting, but it's opened up so many avenues for me now. Now I'm taking courses. I'm learning how to do public speaking. I did my first public speaking engagement this past March. It was a blessing. It was great to be able to do it. And so now it's opened up so many different lanes and avenues for me just by pressing record and getting started on the podcast.
That's amazing. In 2020, I officially got the LLC for my clothing business, and all the things that came with that, and advertising and designing and stuff. It's like, now and other things now that I wasn't doing prior to. Oh, I'm gonna be a clothing designer guy, So here I am podcasting to like further bring people into the clothing brand, but it's like at the same time it's another extension of my true self, um, and it's helping build that community aspect of the brand.
And when you build that podcasting community, when you build it, they will support whatever endeavors you have outside of podcasting. People want, they want the 1 million subscribers, but out of those 1 million subscribers, how many of them are really supporting?
Right.
Me personally, I prefer to get 100,000 subscribers and have 100,000 subscribers support me. Whereas if you have 1 million subscribers, how many, like say 10,000 of those 1 million people are really, so yeah, you have these 1 million, but you only have 10,000 people supporting you, buying your merch, buying whatever. Whereas if you have this little tight community of 100,000, but that 100,000 is supporting you, like literally supporting you.
Right.
And so we start focusing on the numbers, like we need to grow big, and no, we need to start building our community. So our original listeners, we still need to cater to them and build them up, and grow at the same time. So it's for us as podcasters, we just start focusing on, no, we need to grow big. We need to grow. Yes, we need to grow, but you still can't forget about the people who helped start to get you there. Can't forget about the 75 people who first started listening to you.
It's like, ironically, of all the creative things that I do and I'm part of, podcasting is the first one that I'm not tripping that is not getting the likes or the shares or people are talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, for one, it's something that I didn't really want to do in the beginning, and I'm still finding my groove with it. But it's like it's one of those works that is like the reward is doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of what will come with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a lot of subscribers.
You learn so much. Especially if you have a guest that you just end up having a great conversation with, and they just kick some gems to you, and you'd be like, "Oh man, I needed to hear that."
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So to be able to speak, that's why I love it. Like to be able to speak to people, and at first I was like, "Oh man, is this selfish of me that I'm enjoying these talks personally?" And a guest said, "No." They said, "No, that's nothing but self-love. You want to grow and develop. So if these talks are helping you grow and develop as a person and your audience, then there's nothing wrong. Like this is what, if you're learning from, that's what life is about. It's about learning and growing." So that made me realize, like, yeah, like I understand now. Like I get it.
Yeah, it is better on the other side. Like I see, because at first, like when I see that, like how fast a podcast can be published to the world to consume versus like putting out a song. Like a song, at the least, will probably take like 10 days to get out on like iTunes and stuff like that. But it's like podcast is like boop, like 10 minutes, an hour. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
depending who you use to distribute your podcast, like whatever company you use to get your RSS feed, you're on all major platforms. So people tend to gravitate to this. This is for anybody out there that is concerned about starting a podcast. Do your research on who you want to go as your platform. There are so many good ones out there. The one I use personally, I enjoyed the reasons that I enjoyed. And if someone asks me, I would recommend it. But don't always think that free is better. Because there's platforms out there that they entice you with that free offering, but then you don't own your content. Like
right.
There's read the fine print, and you're going to realize you technically don't own your content. And I didn't want that. So I went with a platform where I paid for my services and I own my content 100%.
Right.
When you go to my player page, on the bottom is going to say Real Wise Production. So I own my content, and so I just suggest to everybody, just do your research. If you're gonna do a podcast, find the platform that fits your needs.
Yeah, I'm on RSS. It's like $13 a month. Like it's cool. It shows me where like the hits come from and stuff. I noticed with like some of the other ones, unless you pay like more dollars, don't really show you any analytics or anything.
I'm like, I use Podbean, and I pay up for the year. So something that I would pay, if you would pay probably 13 something a month, if you pay it for the year, it goes down to $7.99 or $9.99 or something. And so, and I love the analytics. I love the customer service. I love the fact that it's simple for me to upload my podcast, to upload my thumbnails, my cover art, whatever. And so for me, and it didn't take me long to become an affiliate. So now I can earn 3 months by sharing the link to something that I use personally.
Nice.
And there's different ways. Like, people think that you need to get monetized. There's different ways for you to monetize your podcast, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through AdSense and all that. Those are great, yes, but you're getting percents on the dollar, whatever, pennies on the dollar, whatever it is. Whereas if you build your brand up and build yourself up, and eventually you can go out and get advertisers and get sponsors and set your price. And there's different ways for you. For me, I've learned different ways. I've posted on Facebook. I've had friends sign up and sponsor podcasts. I've done Podgo, Podcorn, all these different things just to get ads. But at the same time, I'm learning marketing. I'm learning all these different things. And it's hard work. It's a lot of work, man. But I'm having a great time, especially when you find something that you didn't know you were going to be doing. I don't want anybody to think that podcasting is easy, because, listen, I work my butt off to promote, edit, do all these, set up appointments, try to remember my calendar. I don't have an assistant. And so it's not like you're one of these celebrities where you have an assistant or machine help or the backing of Spotify or Apple or whoever to help you run your show. Us independent podcasters, we do a lot of work, man. We got to do a lot of things behind the scenes.
Man, for free at first. Like it's so much.
It is, but it's a business now. Especially if you mean now that this is my business. It's like you're an entrepreneur, so you know the work it takes. You know you're actually working harder now than when you were an employee, right?
Yeah, because you're on the job. Like
you're working more hours for less pay.
Yeah,
we both understand that. Being entrepreneurs, we both understand it. Sometimes you're not even getting paid. Sometimes it's just the sweat and the work that you're putting in, and you're not getting paid. Yes, that's part of the process of being an entrepreneur. These are the struggles. People want to look at all the glitz and glamour of entrepreneurship, like, oh, I get to go on vacation when I want to do. Not at first. When you're first starting out, the first years, you're not doing any of that. Building up your business and building it up. So I'm a business now. I have a production company. I launched the internet radio station. And so now I'm dealing with looking for ads for the radio station, looking for ads and sponsors for podcasts that I'm producing now. And so it's not easy. Like, I still have my day job, and then I come home and I work my business.
Yeah, like it's like a 20-hour a day job all the time. Sometimes you got to work the entrepreneur job on your day job.
Yeah, yes, it is. But this is what you asked for. This is what you want. This is
I was just like chastising myself like the other night. Like, yeah, this is exactly what you wanted. You said you wanted to be P Diddy, you want to be Jay Z, you want to be Dr. You want to be the hip hop mogul guy, right? Like this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you want to do the biggest stuff too. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna want to give up. You're gonna cry. You're gonna throw
bro.
your
All
throw
right,
your
so
arms in the air.
I know what you're talking about because, like I said, we've launched the internet radio station. We have a production company.
Right.
We've self-published 3 books already.
Nice.
We've become a media company. We've launched the Real Wize TV. We have my YouTube channel that's doing pretty well, and so it's a lot of work, man. Then like you got to start keeping up, like especially when again when you're independent and growing and your team is not that big. It's probably like 3 or 4 doing the work of probably 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
But there be days where you're like, oh, why am I doing this? And then there'll be those days that you're like, this is why I'm doing it. Exactly. When something happens where you get a guest that you know who this guest is, and you didn't even realize that they knew your podcast existed. Like when you get that guest, it's an amazing feeling. Like I have a guest coming up next week, and when they reached out to me, I'm like, I have to take a double take and look at him like, are they in the right email? Are they sending the email to the right podcaster? But it was like, yeah, we want to be on your podcast. And when that happens, you're like, this is an expert in his field that you know is well known. You know he has a big following. This is huge. This is an opportunity for you. Yeah, you've had certain guests on, but to me, this is like one of the biggest guests I'll have on my podcast since I've started.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been into self-help and self-development since the early 2000s, and there was a time where I lost my way, but I'm back, and I'm just like I said, Secret was one of the biggest books that helped me and all that, and to actually have someone who was a big contributor to that book reach out to me and be like, hey, I want to do the podcast. That's like big league stuff to me. That's like, wow. That is dope. Like, okay, then this is going and things are happening that you wouldn't, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, like, or you would your podcast is going to have such and such people on, like you'd be like, yeah, or you would even have a podcast. I would have been like, maybe not.
But yeah, with the Matchmaker app, it's putting me in contact with it's like, wow, these people have done things. Like people are doing things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because with my whole approach of it, like you don't have to be a celebrity to talk to me on this show. It's like, to me, everyone has like their own special superpower, or just that really cool thing that they're a part of that they're doing.
Everyone
And
has their story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has their story, definitely.
I'll say we hitting a good stopping point, really. It's a nice introduction to you. I'd say unless you want to go into something else, you're welcome on the show anytime.
I appreciate that, man. I greatly do.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm very excited to be networking with each other and seeing where this goes. Because I like your style. I like what you're about. And yeah, I think this could blossom to something awesome.
Bro, listen, anytime you have any questions, if you need to collaborate or anything. I'm actually looking for people to, if you know any DJs that have any mix CDs or want to mix MP3s, whatever, and want to play it on the internet radio station. I'm looking for on air people to just to help them promote them.
All right, yeah, I know a lot of artists, so yeah, just hit me with your email, and yeah, we can work.
Yeah, if anybody out there listening, you can email me at realwiseproductions@gmail.com. Like I said, we're looking for DJs, on-air personalities. Like if you felt that you wanted to do a radio show, but you didn't know where to start, hit us up. We're willing to give people opportunities to showcase their talent.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for making space for me the day before we were scheduled to do this. Thank you for the game.
Good, man. Things happen.
It was nice to meet you.
Oh man, it's great. Listen, this is just the beginning. We're gonna definitely have some crossovers where you stop by on Stuck in My Mind, and you come and chill out with us over here, man.
For sure, we definitely gonna put that together. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Lavender Water Podcast. I have been your host, Matthew Williams. This was my guest, Wize Otero. Until next time.